All right, Believe Nation, it's that time. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time. Let me just put a message in here. Put your questions in below. Put your questions in below, and we'll get to them. We'll go through it. Let's go. I'm excited. Pin comment. Waiting on my friend Mark Drager to join in. So welcome. Happy Wednesday today. Marion in the house. Marion, good to see you, man. Welcome. There's Mark. Let's bring him in. Mr. Drager, the Dragersaurus, the Drager Nation, the Drager Anonymous. I don't know where we're going with that. How you doing,
Hello.
Mark?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Are you okay?
Great. Yeah, I'm in like book funnel mode, fighting with publishers and agents and.
Yeah. You look like you've been in a fight. Did you get like hit in the face?
Oh no, I just got a scab here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whew, I was worried that your argument has turned into fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs?
Yeah, that's what old people used to say for fighting.
Fisticuffs?
Yeah, that's an old saying.
Never heard of that before. All right.
Yeah.
This
It's like people who say huzzah when they're excited.
I don't know anybody who says huzzah either.
Oh my goodness. Come on, get into 2020 already.
You just said it's for old people. So
No, I said olden days. Olden days. Everything from the past comes back again.
That has nothing to do with
Fisticuffs is
2020.
great.
It only
Huzzah
has to do
is
with
great. Nasty is great. We're good about all of this stuff, right?
nasty is great.
So what are we doing here, Evan? You want to introduce us? Or
I'm here with Mark Drager. We're filming our bonus episode of the Something to Prove podcast. Mark is the marketing maestro, the communications connoisseur, and what was the other one? The Wizard of Whitby.
Sure, let's go with that.
If you don't know Whitby, it's this super remote place way outside of Toronto.
Yeah, I don't even live there, so that's
Oh, really?
fine.
Where do you live?
I live in Oshawa, remember?
Oshawa.
Yes.
Oshawa. The ostrich of Oshawa, Mark Drager in the house.
Fantastic. Let's hit some questions. Let's drive some value.
Okay, Adam is asking, I have so much audio written and some video, I would be able to ask an important question. I don't even know. What does that mean, Adam? I have so much audio written and some video, I would be able to ask an important question.
Next.
That
was your chance.
Ask us your question. Okay. Zen Reseller, I was just thinking of you. Me or Mark, or both. I'm on my way to pick up a storage unit I bought. Scared and excited. You've definitely helped me keep going. Thank you.
I'm gonna give that to you. That's an Evan one.
There's not even a question there.
That's okay. It's love, Evan. You're changing lives.
Love.
Whether people are asking questions or not, you're still driving value.
It's love. Oh, someone's using a question mark box. Okay, let's see if I can bring it in. Hold on. Oh, how come? Okay, there we go.
Can't see
Okay,
it.
question is, y'all treat each other good.
Yes. Thank you.
Believe Nation is full of love today. Listen, we got to get some questions here. How can we help? We want to help you. Okay, give us. Okay, let me scroll up. Okay, what do you suggest for writing motivational books? What do you suggest for writing motivational books?
So I'm not even going to attempt to answer this because, for one, I've not done it. But two, Evan has written 4 books and they're published. So why don't we ask Evan that question, Evan?
Wow. Well, Mark had a sizable hand in one of them.
One of them, yes. I took your content and then we acted as your editor to help edit it. But
well, more than editor, you were creating stuff for it, and then
yes.
He got asked to sign
a copy of it, which is very nice.
A
copy, yes.
The first person asked Mark for an autograph that wasn't the government was in Texas. So he's had some experience.
People also want me to sign checks as well. That happens too.
Right. Okay. Oh, there you go. I think you got to start with a process that helped you, right? Like, what has helped you? So, Built to Serve, new book coming out. This is the official book, not just the cover. Very exciting. There it is, right? This process helped me, and then the process helped lots of other people. From one-on-one meetings to group coaching to seminars that I've done, is a process that worked over and over and over and over and over and over again. So You can have a lot of great ideas, but you have to field test them. So you field test them on yourself first, then you field test them with working with people. I would take all of your motivation ideas and then line up 25 free calls with people where you're going to field test that idea, because it sounds amazing, but then you have to see how it actually plays off with somebody. Because you're going to talk to Mark and he's going to say, I don't get it. That's a problem. You have to fix it. You got to tweak it. And then you have to follow up with Mark a week later to say, hey, all that stuff we talked about on the call, how are you doing? Chances are Mark didn't do anything on it, right? And so how do you then make sure that they get it the first time and actually execute on it, right? So that's what I would do, is all the concepts in your book, make sure that it applied to you, and then line up 25 free calls with people and then follow up with them a week later and use all of that feedback to then make the book better, and then do another 25 free calls and make sure that people are actually executing against it.
It's interesting because as you're talking, it's making me think about, anytime that we develop processes in business or we try to get better at something, at helping other people. And I think if you're a novelist, you'll write a treatment, or you'll come up with a story, or you're not sure how it'll end. You have character development, and then you sit down and write. But if you're talking about a motivational book or a business book, they're usually steeped in like stuff that you've done yourself, or things that you've done to help others, or research, or things like that. So as you're talking, I imagine it's actually a very different process than just sitting down to write. You're not sitting down to write a book. You're figuring out how you can help people through a process. And then the sitting down to write it should be the easy part, right? Like you wrote your book while on a tour as Nina was driving around the country very, very, very quickly, because you had spent a year and a half or 2 years maybe living it before you sat down to write it.
Yeah, well put. I was thinking the same thing. I was living it for 2 years. I had a little more energy the way I thought it, but yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Can I add, I heard Aaron Sorkin. I love Aaron Sorkin. He's a writer. He writes television. He was the writer of The West Wing and Studio 60 and Sports Night and The Social Network. He wrote that movie. He's written lots and lots of stuff. And I heard him speaking about writing. And most writers sit down to write. And he procrastinates. He hates writing. He'll do anything but write. He'll go have showers. He'll go for walks. He'll do everything. He'll wait 5 days and just let everything steep in his head and mix around. And then when he sits down to write, it comes out. It just comes out without him thinking about it. But if he's not at that point where he's living it, where he's breathing it, where he feels it, he actually really struggles to write. I think in a business sense, or for a motivational book, you have to be living it.
All right. Next question. Kieran Davis. Struggling with YouTube keywords. Any advice?
Evan, do keywords even do anything on YouTube?
Let's hear from Mark, and then I'll add my 2 cents.
You'll add your 2 cents? Well, based off of Evan's amazing YouTube course on how to grow your business, I have been led to believe that keywords on YouTube don't do anything. Am I wrong in that regard? Hashtag keywords, it's more about the title structure.
Yeah, so I guess it depends what they think. If it's hashtags, then it's 0. Don't even worry about your hashtags. If it's keywords in terms of what to put in your title, then stop thinking SEO and think suggested. So your goal is, once Mark Jager puts up a fire piece of content that's blowing up and gets millions of views, your goal is to show up right after Mark. And so you want to use similar keywords, similar title structure that he uses, so that you can show up next. Now, you still got to produce a fire piece of content, but your entire keyword research should be based off of what other people are creating successful content around, because you want to rank against them, as opposed to thinking search. Search is not the game. You don't blow up with search, period.
So one thing that we do, we're small and we're just learning and trying to get at this. We come at our topics 2 ways. Either there's a topic that I want to talk about that I'm passionate about, and then we go out and find another video and look at their structure, look at their title structure, look at how many views they have relative to subscribers, and then we tweak our content around that. Or we find content that's blowing up, and then we figure out what our take is on it. That's how we approach the research.
Yuko Mama in the house, love your new Instagram Live channel. Which app do you use to preserve Instagram Live? Does Mark even know about my new Instagram Live channel?
I do. Not only did I see the email, yeah. I heard you talk about it on Instagram.
So this was, for those who don't know, for a while, I've been frustrated for people that that IG Lives disappear, and that so many of our heroes or thought leaders you look up to, that you want to learn from, they're going live, they're sharing their wisdom, and then poof, it goes away, which sucks for you because you can't learn from them. And it sucks for them that they've created this amazing piece of content that then disappears. And so I wanted to preserve their legacy. So on Friday, while I'm having my acupuncture and I'm face down and having needles explode into my back with electrical currency, electrical currents. It was currency to my brain. I decided I'm going to launch a new channel, and so that became my Friday, where I went home, we launched it, we got the banner art up, we got the playlists all set up, and anyway, so it's up. So every day we're posting new videos of people who've gone live, as long as there's still value. And there's a bunch of people who went live, and I got excited because Dame Dash went live. Like, Dame Dash never goes live, awesome. And it's just some girl dancing in the club. Like, okay, well, that's not what that's not the point of this channel. So if it's just heavy promotion, we don't do it. Or if it's just something fun or silly, we don't do it. But if there's something you can learn from it, then we're going to post it. So that's the channel. You can go subscribe. Starting a new channel. It's got like 500 subscribers or something. So let's go. So how to download a story, we use Android. We haven't figured out how to do it on Apple yet. So there's an app called StorySave that lets you do stories as well as live streams. So that's what we use. I think though with a live, I think what I found is, so at the end of some lives, you can download it on an iPhone. There's a little button at the top left, but I think when you bring somebody else in, you can't download it. If you're just solo, you can download it. That's my working theory. But anyway, I'm still using my Android phone to do it. Have you figured out a solution, Mark?
As far as every time I look at it, there's no solution other than to try and screen capture it live off of either an Apple laptop or an iPhone. Apple products, the privacy settings won't let you download it.
All right. Belen Ken de Bar 123. I probably destroyed that, but thank you for the question. Do we need to read a book in order to become successful?
No.
Great. I agree with Mark, but you need to learn. So you just got to figure out how you learn best, right? If you want to read a book, this one is a fantastic one to pick up.
But you could also listen to it.
But you can listen to it. I read it myself, so that's going to be fire. Or videos.
You can call up Evan and just say, Evan, read it to me live, please. I will pay you to do so.
Wow.
I already interactive experience.
A podcast guest episode. I forget what the contest was. Go like Mark or something.
It was follow me and leave a comment.
Go follow Mark. I just hit my head on the microphone.
Follow me, leave a comment, and Evan will join that person on the podcast.
Right.
And Sadiq was the one who won it.
Sadiq was our winner. And listen, that was a life-changing moment for him talking to you. Talking to me and you. Anyway,
talking to you.
You don't need to read a book, but you need to learn. So you have to hack your learning style. And then figure out.
But also surround yourself with people that scare you. Challenge yourself in your comfort zone. Take in content that also challenges your thinking. Don't just do stuff that makes you feel smart or that you agree with. Those are all ways to also stretch yourself.
I love it. Okay, next. Reese Nicolette. They would want me to sell my invention to them. That's how good it is, but I want to make a business.
Okay, so there's someone who wants you to sell their invention, but you want to maintain it to grow the business. Okay, so I don't understand what the problem is. Hold on to it. Don't give it up. So if it's really, really, really IP-based, then you may want to look at getting a patent, but also you could just keep things more private. So you have to figure out, I don't even know how to answer this question because I don't know what type of invention it is, but are you lining up manufacturing or how are you going to get it built? What are you thinking to start really, really small to sell it or give it away to people so you can learn as much about whether your invention actually works in the real world as possible before you order 5,000 of them? I would say, great, people want it, you have it. I don't know how to answer this question, Evan.
I think you really need to do a self-assessment to figure out what is your key strength. Some people are great inventors, but actually suck at building a business. And you shouldn't focus on it. You should get the patent, sell it, and then go, because you got 48 more inventions in you that can also reap some rewards. Or some people are business builders and they love taking it from zero and building something up. And if that's you, then great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go build this myself. Awesome. But there's tons of people with amazing inventions that go nowhere. So you have to go and get clients. You have to go find that somebody's going to be willing to pay you for your product or service. So it starts with you figuring out, are you the person who's just an inventor? And own it. Awesome. You don't need to be an entrepreneur, CEO with a team of 1,000 people. Just keep inventing new stuff. Or are you the person who's going to build a business and just lean heavy on whichever one best suits you?
That's a much better answer.
That's what I got.
I learn as much as I try to give in this thing.
Okay. Will you be my business partner?
Who are you asking, and what is your business, and what is happening right now?
Mark Jager, will you be my business partner? Somebody's asked, imagine they're asking you, will you be my business partner?
I don't know you. So more than anything, when you're looking for business partners, the idea, the concept, all of that stuff doesn't matter as much as the fact that you are basically marrying this person. You got to really, you got to have a yin and a yang. You got to be able to balance each other out. You have to have common values. You have to both commit the same amount of time and work just as hard and impress each other with what you're able to bring to the table. All of that stuff matters to me because I don't want to feel like I'm carrying someone, and I also don't want to feel like I'm letting someone down. So if I'm going to marry someone, we better be a partnership.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Imagine somebody just proposed to you over Instagram. Right? It's like, hey, will you marry me? What are you going to say?
No. No, thank you.
Right? So that's not how you start, right? It shows that you haven't thought it through, right? So you start by asking one question. You start by understanding what that person's interested in. You start by trying to find an opportunity to work together on something small. You start by them being able to recognize your name, right? Because you wouldn't walk up to somebody on the street or definitely on Instagram and say, would you marry me? And expect it to happen, right? If it's a joke, awesome. But if you actually expect it to happen, then it's not. Okay. What's the best way to launch more than one book? From Sophia.
Yeah, I saw this question. This is awesome. So the answer is to do what works for the first book for the second, third, fourth, and fifth. How do you know what works for the first book? I had a client who was a custom home builder, and he wanted to start really big. So he actually bought 3 properties and built 3 homes at the same time and flipped them. And guess what happened? All of his mistakes he made across 3 properties. All the things he wasted money on, he wasted on 3 properties. All the lessons that he had to learn on 3 properties. Rather than do it once, figure everything out, and then blow it up, he literally got himself $500,000 in debt, making the same mistakes on 3 because he wanted to start really, really big. So if you know what will work for the first book, then you just do it on all of the books. If you don't know what will work with the first book, then are you really willing to make the same mistake across 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different books? I would say start, figure it out, and then blow it up.
Sophia says, makes sense. All right, look at that. What an answer. Mark saw the question, started preparing his answer.
Yeah. I saw it early. So it's just like, oh, wow, okay, there was that client I had.
Guys got the story ready to go. I like it. I would also think about the sequence. So usually when you're writing books, they go in an order, right? Like your one word, let the built the serve. If it's fiction, then there's still the sequence in an order. So what's the first book that comes out in a natural order so that it's the intro book that then people finish that and it's logical for them to go to the next book. So figure out of your multiple books, what is that first book? And then follow Mark's advice and make that one a success. And then you can follow up with the second ones and third ones and fourth ones. That was a good example. All right, people liking Mark's stories. There you go. All right. Okay, what do we got? I read a lot, but I have a hard time taking action or executing on what I've read.
I literally texted, well, didn't text. I always say I texted. I Facebook messaged Evan on Saturday because I was reading this book, and there was this one little line in the book that is a throwaway line that hit me, punched me in the gut. And it was, I was reading about personality types and this and that. And it said, this type of personality, my type of personality, for some strange reason, believes that thinking is the same thing as doing. So I literally am the type of person where if you gave me a challenge or a problem or something scary, I would think my way through it for the next 2 weeks. And if you asked me if I was making progress, I would say yes. Because to me, thinking about it is making progress. I'm thinking about it. I'm doing stuff. It's top of mind all the time. And then I literally never get around to starting. Books and videos and motivation and going to conferences and all of this stuff feeds within us this feeling of progress and growth, even though we may never start. So for me, what I need to tell myself, and what I do tell myself, is less thinking, more doing. You know, if I'm standing there thinking about something, if I'm thinking about picking up the weight at the gym rather than picking it up, less thinking, more doing. I don't need to think about this. I just need to do it. And so for me, I want to always try and balance the motivation and the books and the learning. And then I check in with myself and I'm saying, great, I've read this book, that I love, Expert Secrets from, Russell Brunson. Am I actually doing anything with this information? Or am I just moving on to the next book and the next book and the next book? And I challenge myself to actually do this stuff, or not fool myself into thinking that I'm somehow making progress just by reading about other people doing it when I don't do it myself.
Yeah. So I read a lot, but I have a hard time taking action or executing on what I've read. Listen, it's supposed to be hard. Like, why do you think it's going to be easy? It might be simple, but it's not easy. Changing your life is not easy. Creating the movement is not easy. Building a giant business, having a huge impact is not easy. Don't expect it to be easy. Part of the problem is you think it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard. Awesome. You do hard things. Let's go.
But you do know we tell ourselves that surely it's not supposed to be this hard.
It's supposed to be this hard and more. And you're capable of it. Stop expecting things to be easy. Stop looking for the easy way. It's hard. Amazing. You do hard things. You love hard things. You grow through hard things. Go.
Let's go.
If you read something and you think it's going to be easy, this is how people set themselves up for failure. You think it's going to be easy. You do one tiny thing. It doesn't work, so you go read another book. Great. You're in constant consumption mode instead of creation. I mean, for
me, I come up with an idea, and then I see a little bit of gain, and then I don't continue those gains, and I don't continue the gains, and then I give up. That's the other thing.
Come up with an idea, take immediate action. That's
Yes.
already ahead of what most people will do.
Yes, and then stay with it and challenge yourself again.
Great. Expect it to be hard. Everything great is on the other side of hard, and you do hard things.
That's something we're going to clip.
You like that? All right.
I like that one.
All right. Junior Dennis. Hey, Evan, how are you? My question is how to be happy. How to be happy, Mark?
So I've always subscribed to the thinking, and I don't know where I picked this up or heard it, that happiness is a byproduct of the way that you live your life. That a lot of us are happy or unhappy, and we're kind of chasing happiness. You know, my wife doesn't make me happy, so I'm going to go and find a different wife. Or my job doesn't make me happy, or my boss doesn't make me happy, or where I live doesn't make me happy. And so I always believe that happiness is the result of the other decisions that you've made. So if my wife doesn't make me happy, should I just go off and chase happiness, or should I become the person that I need to be for her? Or there's nothing, people separate, and that's fine. But if all you're doing is chasing happiness, then you will find yourself in a new relationship facing the exact same problems you had before. If you're not happy in your job, you're going to go to another job that will give a tiny moment of change and excitement, and then you'll find yourself in the exact same situation you were before. So what I would look at is how I'm scheduling my time, the people that I'm surrounding myself with and listening to, the types of things that make me proud. Am I doing them in the day-to-day or not? I would kind of focus on those basic things before I started looking for happiness. Because if you start to knock some of those things out each and every day, you're going to find that just over the course of time, your entire life will become more happy. Wow.
All right. Jeff from the last question is saying, ooh, that's deep. Creation over consumption. Thank you, guys. All right. That's what we're here for. Thank you for watching. Okay, I would split this up for Junior Dennis. Somebody's saying, OMG, Mark, you're talking to me. Huh? Look at that. Mark dropping some value. I would split this up between happiness and fulfillment, because happiness, I think, can often be very fleeting. I'm happy that I had a coffee this morning. I'm happy that I went for a walk. I'm happy that I did that swim yesterday when I couldn't do it in my morning routine like I normally do it, right? Little moments of happiness. I'm happy here talking to Mark. I'm happy here talking to you guys, right? It can be fleeting. Fulfillment is sustained happiness. And I think that comes from serving others. That's why we had the book. Whoa!
Oh,
I knocked over everything. I got so excited. That's why we had the book. Built to serve, right there, right? Sustained happiness comes from knowing that the work that you're doing is having an impact. Let me put this back in my holder there. Right? Got so excited that we knocked everything over. You could be happy in little tiny moments, but if you woke up every day and felt like the work you did mattered, was meaningful to others, was having an impact on lives, that's fulfillment. That's sustained, ongoing, everyday happiness. And I think that's what everybody's chasing. So,
do you think there's anything wrong with being unhappy? Because I find the uncomfortable, unhappy times, you learn more and grow more than the happy times, right?
Again, if you got to look at, are you unhappy just because of some micro little thing that happened, right? I'm unhappy that while walking home from Whole Foods this morning, Nina hit her head on the slide.
Wow. Okay. Backstory there.
Right?
She must have been going down a slide.
No, we were looking down at the ground, and we walked through a kid's playground, and she hit her head on the slide. Right?
Oh, that would hurt.
That's unhappiness, but it's not everyday sustained unhappiness, right? The everyday sustained unhappiness comes from you feeling worthless, and you gain the worth by serving and helping others. So I might be unhappy that I knocked over my phone, right? Like there's all these little moments that will cause unhappiness, but the deep seated unhappiness comes from feeling like you're not worthy, you're not valuable, you're not doing things that contribute to helping other people. Yeah, you good with that?
Yeah, you're good, Evan. You're good.
Okay. Okay.
We got time for one last question.
Pavan, hey Evan, I would love to speak with you. Please accept my live requests. That's not happening, Pavan, because I got my friend Mark Drager in the house today, and we're doing our Q&A session. But if you want to leave a question in the question box, we'll be happy to try to answer for you. But we got to go quick because we got one more left. Jesus Orobo Joseph? How would you just go with Joseph? I'm really confused. Looking for a business idea that I can start with $300.
So if you don't have a lot of money, the very best thing you can do is start a service-based business. That's what I did. I started my business when I was 23, and I started by quitting my job and asking the company I was at if they would just give the work, like they just wouldn't hire someone. Like if I could just quit and if they could just let me keep doing the work as a freelancer, it would help lower their costs, and there was all these reasons why I could work. But as a service-based business, all I literally needed was a computer and my time. And so you can do that with incredibly low amounts of risk, very, very, very little money, because your goal would be to say, what am I good? Sorry, that was Facebook calling me. The goal would be, what am I good at? What can I do that people don't know how to do or are unwilling to do because they would just rather throw money at it? Those are the two places to start. What can I do for people that they don't know how to do that they'll spend money on or are unwilling to do because it's just not worth their time? And if you can do that, there are people who build up tremendous companies with very little money for all kinds of things we don't think about, like cleaning out gutters or trimming trees or picking up garbage or answering people's emails for them or scheduling their time for them, or just what can I do for the people around me in my life that I can connect with that they don't know how to do or they're unwilling to do and will pay money for. And that is literally how you can start your business.
Facebook reminded me today that 6 years ago, I posted something to my Facebook talking about me crossing 1 million views on my YouTube channel.
That was 6 years ago?
6 years ago. So
a million views or a million subscribers? Oh.
No, 1 million views.
Okay.
1 million
I was
views.
like...
So I've had my channel for almost 11 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it took me...
April, it'll be 11 years. That's crazy.
It took me 5 years to get to 1 million views. And I looked at my sub count. I was so happy that I crossed 1 million views. I didn't even pay attention to subscribers. I looked at my sub count in that picture. It's like a screenshot.
It was like, what, 7,000?
Yeah, 7,000 subscribers.
Was it?
Yeah. So 6 years ago, I had 1 million views and like 7,000 and a couple hundred or whatever subscribers. And so it took me 5 years to get there. And then in the past 6 years, going from 7,000 subscribers to 1 million views to 300 million. And what it reminded me of is everything that you want to do can always be started smaller. Almost every idea that's in your head, you can always start on a smaller scale. You just have to figure out what that looks like. It's easy to look at what the big vision and the big picture, and Mark's building his marketing agency and he needs to have 30 people working for him, and it's easy to plan that out. Great, what do I do right now? Like, what's the smallest possible way to just get started? And I started with Mark actually came over and filmed my first video. I asked my friend to film it for free for me. and then I borrowed cameras and I borrowed gear and I did all the editing myself and then built up. So whatever idea you have, find a smaller way to get started. That being said, the worst question you can ask is, what business should I start with $300? Because it doesn't matter what I would start and what Mark would start. I would say start a YouTube channel. Mark would say start a digital marketing agency.
No, I would say go rake people's lawns in the fall for leaves.
Yeah, but that's still like the worst idea because you have to like it.
Yeah,
the number one
I do
rule,
like it.
You like it. Awesome. Like, that's how Mark would do it. Great. You have to like it, Joseph. The combination of what you love with where there's demand is the success intersection. And there's very few things that you love doing. But inside of those 5 things, there's an opportunity for you to make a lot of money. And in each of those 5 things, there's a way to start smaller with $0. Forget about 300. Don't spend anything. Start with 0.
The other thing I'll add real quick to your thing, Evan, and I learned this the hard way. You said love, 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 love. You didn't say you're good at. There are a lot of things that we're really good at that people will pay us money for that we don't love doing, but we do. And then we end up building companies and we end up hiring teams and we end up building this, spending our life dedicated to building this entire thing that we're good at, that people will pay us for, but we don't love. And then we have a nervous breakdown and our friend Evan Carmichael has to come and rescue us. I'm just saying that might happen. Don't ask me how I know.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Something to Prove podcast bonus episode. Appreciate you watching, listening. If you want to find us, check out Something to Prove podcast on, where are they going, Mark? I don't even know how to
Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud. We're everywhere.
That's it. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back on again next week. I'll be back on tomorrow doing more Q&As. Continue to believe. Thank you, Mark, for the love.
Bye.
Do we keep going, Mark? Are we going to do the ending? Or is that...
No, that's only on the regular one.
Okay,
I was waiting for you to close it.
I was watching goodbye. Okay, this is super awkward.
It's actually goodbye.
Happy Wednesday.